Good afternoon. Today's shiur is for the Refuah Shalema of Yehuda Chaim ben Esther Sarah, Refuah Shalema. And Leila Nishmat Moshe ben Baruch Shniur. And Leila Nishmas William and Hela and Rochel Bas Yosef, David ben Abraham, Tzvi Dav ben Chaim Pesach, Fred ben Richard, Yitzchak ben Sarah, Devorah Bas Yitzchak, Avraham and Mordechai David, Reuben ben Shmuel, Shoshana Bas Elchanan, Chana Golda Bas Yisrael, Yeshua ben Shmuel, Chaim ben Fege, Yaakov ben Yitzchak, Mordechai Netzach ben Rivka, Rochel Bas Yosef, Eliezer ben Yaakov, Chaim ben Gedalia, Zalman Leib ben Moshe, Chaim Elio ben Yosef Moshe, Amichai ben Yaakov, Gedalia ben Tzvi Ruvain, Leila Nishmatam. Today's topic is animal rights in Judaism. Do animals have rights in Judaism? If you take a look at your source sheet, source number 1. Who said that? Rivka. 100%?
I thought I was whispering.
Now there's a mitzvah that before you sit down to eat lunch or dinner, you have to what? Feed your animal first. You have to feed your animal before you eat. There's a famous story of the Nitziv. Bar Ilan Street, that's his son. His father, the great Nitziv, came home from Rosh Hashanah davening, and it's late. And you have to make kiddush and eat, but you can't until what, Elisheva? You feed the chickens. But somehow they couldn't find the key to the chicken coop. So the family is hungry, but you can't eat Yochanan until you feed your chickens. So I had to find a non-Jew to break the lock on Yom Tov, to feed the chickens, and only then would he allow the family to what? To eat. Ad kedei kach.
Since it was destroyed, why did you need a non-Jew to destroy?
You're not allowed to destroy on Yom Tov. Yom Tov you're allowed to do ochel nefesh. But to break a lock on Yom Tov is not ochel nefesh.
Destroy.
So what?
Like Shabbos, you can destroy.
No, you can't. Potter avalosar. Don't mix me up. Potter avalosar. We practice rabbinic Judaism. On Shabbos and Yom Tov, if you destroy, it's not osem min Torah, but it's rabbinically prohibited. Right?
Usually can't you destroy to eat?
To eat, but not your animal. Right? So therefore, I had to find. Good point you guys are making. You're allowed to rip open a bag of potato chips or break open a barrel if you want to eat. Right? But to break a lock on Yom Tov for an animal, that you need to do through a non-Jew. But the point that I'm making is, Yehuda, is that they couldn't eat until they fed their animals. So there you have it. Because, why is that? Halacha, why? Because it's cruel. The animal sees you're eating, and he's not. It's mental anguish. So the Torah is concerned not just with physical tzar balachayim, yiddish chanoch, but even mental anguish for an animal, not to cause mental anguish for an animal. Ad kedei kach. Now, there's an amazing pasuk in Zechariah chapter 12. You don't have it on your sheets, but Zechariah chapter 12 says, Bayoimahu, on that day, what day? When the Mashiach comes, Hashem, says God, Ake kol sus batimon, I will strike all the horses with wonder, v'richba b'shegaon, and the riders I will strike with madness. A strange verse, Yehuda, in Zechariah 12. Bayoimahu, on that day, says Zechariah, when the Mashiach comes, says God, I will strike the horses with wonderment. The horses will wonder why their riders are being punished. What does that mean, Masha? Says the Sefer Chasidim on this pasuk in Zechariah 12. Atid HaKadosh Baruch Hu liyipara elbon susim rachveim. That la'asid lavai, God is going to hold the riders who treated their animals cruelly. When they wanted them to go fast, they would stick their spurs in them. Even for causing that pain to the horse, they're going to have to give a din v'cheshbon when Mashiach comes. You hear this? Ad kedei kach. Ad kedei kach, how far? This is the Sefer Chasidim on the verse of Zechariah 12, where the horses will wonder. Mr. Ed will wonder. Remember Mr. Ed? Why is my rider being punished? because you mistreat your horse, you're going to have to give a din v'cheshbon even for that, Sharona. Ad kedei kach. That's pretty amazing. Now, why is nevela not kosher? Nevela, an animal that was not slaughtered properly, the chum is not kosher. Why?
It dies of itself.
Because he suffered. Rivka, 2 for 2. The animal was not slaughtered properly. The knife was blunt and had nicks in it. That means that you caused the animal to suffer needlessly. Therefore, you cannot eat that animal. Shchita, the knife must be smooth and razor sharp, where within 2 seconds the animal loses consciousness. So if you cause unnecessary pain to an animal, if the knife is not smooth and razor sharp, you're causing unnecessary pain to an animal, therefore you're calling the animal's nevela. What does nevela mean? You can't eat it. You can't eat it. Now, if you look at source number 1, God is speaking to Adam. Source number 1, and God says to Adam in source number 1, Pasuk Chavtes. God says to Adam and Chava, I have given you all, Kol Esev Zoreya Zera, it's in bold type, source number 1, Chavtes. I've given you to eat the seeds of the field, that's called Eitz Ashaboy Pre-Eitz. Adam and Chava were supposed to be what? Vegetarian. They're only allowed to eat veggies and fruits and veggies. No meat. So plan A was that mankind should be what? Vegetarian. But plan A seldom works out, Ruti. Even for him. Doesn't work out. So we go to plan B. What's plan B? Chanok, you have a paper? Source number 2. You ain't got a paper? Okay. It's important to see it inside. Source number 2, Pasuk Aleph, Vayvorach Lakim es Noach. God blessed Noach. And what does he say to Noach? Source number 2, Moshe Pasuk Gimel. Kol remes hashuchai lechem yelachla ki yerek esasat lechem es koil. In source number 2, Gimel, God allows Noach and his family to what? To eat meat. Up until then, it was forbidden. The question is, doctor, what happened? Why was Noach allowed to eat meat? Why are we going to plan B? So the Ramban tells me in source number 3 why God allowed Noach to what? Eat meat. Okay? Source number 3, it's in the bold type, Ikashachotu. When mankind sinned, the Hishkis called Bosas Darkel Oretz, source number 3 in bold type, and all of mankind and the animal kingdom corrupted their way on the earth. Nigzar, God ordained that what? That it should be a mabul. Right? Ubarvi Noach hitzel mehem likiyam amin. And the animal kingdom only survived Yehuda thanks to whom? Noach. So since Noach saved the animal kingdom, Hakarat Hatov. How do you say that in English?
Bon appetit.
No. Since the animal kingdom owes its existence to Noach, so therefore it's only right that Noach has a chance to what? Eat them. Because if it wasn't for him, nada. There wouldn't be no animal kingdom. So the least the animals can do is donate part of their species to Noach, because if it wasn't for Noach, there would be no animals at all. So the Ramban says it's called Akarat Hatov. Yes. What do you mean?
If he saved the animal and they want to show him and so Hakarat Hatov, he shouldn't
Eat me, feed me, feed me.
That's a plant.
That's Nachmanides' reason. Good enough for me. Go ahead. What?
What happened to the human being at that time? They became weaker. Did they need that for nourishment?
Okay, that's another reason. Very good. Excellent. That's another reason. That's another reason that mankind became weaker after the flood, and therefore they could not sustain themselves only with a veggie diet. Right? But the main reason, that's a good reason too, but Nachmanides here gives the main reason that the animal kingdom, since they owed their existence to Noach, it's only right that they should give of themselves to eat. Okay? But still,
Become a right, Rabbi.
beg your pardon, what?
There's no logical connection here.
Why not?
I saved you, therefore you're my servant.
You owe
My
me.
slave?
You owe
I
me.
don't know. There's no logical
Excuse me, Nechanoch. What right does God have to make claims on me? Why should I listen or obey Him? Ani Hashem Elokechem asher hotzesi eschem eretz Mitzrayim.
He knows best.
Lioschem, right? Since God redeemed us from slavery in the ancient world, if you redeemed a slave, do you remember the movie Ben-Hur?
Oh, yeah.
I thought I was wasting my time when I was watching it. But I'm not. I'm bringing it home, Rivka. In the ancient world, when you freed a slave, you became his new master. Hakara, gratitude. Since God freed us from Egypt, from his slavery, now he's our new master and we owe him. So this same idea says Nachmanides that the animal kingdom owes Noach, and therefore God gave Noach permission to what? To eat, but not sarba, but not to eat flesh or blood from a living animal. A non-Jew is allowed, it doesn't eat shchita, but he has to kill the animal. He can't eat while the animal is alive, a piece of it, and not even the blood. So a non-Jew can have a Bloody Mary, Chanoch, with real blood as long as the animal is dead. But unlike Genghis Khan, you know what they did? I learned this in Science 101 history. I remember as a kid in the 7th grade, Genghis Khan, when he was conquering, they ran out of water. You know what they would do? They would stick a knife in the vein of their steed and suck the blood. You can look it up on Google. When they ran out of water, that's classic Tsar Balachayim. A non-Jew cannot do that. A non-Jew can have meat and blood as long as the animal is dead. A Jew can't have blood even after the animal is dead. But a non-Jew, he is allowed to have blood only after the animal is what? Has been killed. Has been killed. Wendell Jones told me, Zecher Sadik Avracha, he was a righteous Gentile, keep the 7. He said he didn't know that on Sunday afternoon in his part of Texas they would have calf fries. Calf fries. You know what calf fries are? They would castrate the testicles of bulls and fry them up. He said they thought that's an aphrodisiac. He didn't know, Moshe, that a non-Jew can't do that. To castrate a bull and eat the testicles while the bull is alive, that's Evim Minachai. That's cruelty to animals. A non-Jew can't do that. Wendell Jones didn't know that. He has to do tshuva for that. He didn't know, right? Yes? What? Fire away. You ask me if it's a really aphrodisiac, I don't know, but he said that's what they believed. Yeah.
Is castration permitted on a
Of course, not even. It's not allowed. Not even on an animal. According to the Torah, you cannot castrate a human being, not even an animal. But a non-Jew,
A non-Jew
can
castrate an animal.
That's not so simple. Now you're getting all different stuff. The Machlokas Rishonim, it's not one of the 7. But the Rishonim say that castrating an animal is rabbinically, for a Jew, it's Torah violation. But for a non-Jew, even though it's not one of the 7, it's a rabbinic violation to castrate an animal for a non-Jew. For a Jew, it's a Torah violation, and for a non-Jew, it's a rabbinic violation. But I don't want to get off the subject over here. The Talmud says clearly that Tsar Balachayim, to be cruel to an animal, is Osra Min HaTorah. You transgress a Torah law when you show cruelty to an animal. Yet there's a strange Gemara in Bava page 32. If you see a friend of yours needs help to unload his animal. There's a tractate Bava page 32. A friend of yours, his animal is what? Overloaded, and obviously the animal is suffering. There's a mitzvah to help unload or load. There's a mitzvah in the Torah. But here it's a double mitzvah. You're helping unload, and you're also relieving the animal of what? Pain. But at the same time, you see an enemy of yours, listen to this, who needs help to load his animal. Your best friend, his animal is squeaking under the load. But at the same time, so it's a double mitzvah to help a fellow Jew and also to relieve the tsar of the animal. But at the same time, you see an enemy of yours. Look, the Torah lives in the real world. How could Jews have enemies? The Torah lives in the real world. Tell it like it is. You see your enemy, your neighbor that you can't stand or whatever, he needs help to load his animal. To load his animal. There's no tsar balachayim here. Who should you do first? I would say, help my friend and alleviate the pain of the animal, Larry. But no. The Talmud says, in this case, help your enemy first to conquer your Yetzer Hara. But unloading your friend's animal would take away the pain of what? Of the animal. Still, it's better to control your Yetzer Hara. So we see that despite Tsar Balachayim, the Torah teaches that controlling my Yetzer Hara comes first, even before what? Tsar Balachayim. Now your turn, Larry.
Is that for any animal?
Any animal.
That's if a man's a pig farmer and he raises pigs to give to the restaurants.
Yes.
It's still Tsar Balachayim.
That's right. Any animal. You're not allowed to torture any animal, a pig or whatever. But isn't it amazing halacha? I want to help my friend and alleviate the pain. He's being overloaded, the animal. But at the same time, I see an enemy who needs to load his animal. There's no tsar balachayim. Yet the halacha says, but Mitzvot, page 32, first help your enemy. Because this way you are what? Conquering your Yetzer Hara. Even though unloading your friend's animal will take away the pain of the animal, it's still better to control your Yetzer Hara despite the animal suffering. So we see the Torah teaches that what? That my tikkun, how do you say that in English? My fix, controlling my Yetzer Hara comes first, even at the expense of what?
Of the animal.
Pain of the animal. That's an amazing halacha, Yehuda, isn't it?
Are we talking
Huh?
about a Jewish enemy or a non-Jewish
Because
enemy?
You don't want
we're talking about a Jewish enemy. How could a Jew have an enemy? Tell it like it is. The Torah lives in the real world. Torah is not pie in the sky, fancy slogans.
It's also difficult because it might take a long time to load the animal. Unloading takes just a few seconds. So that's a difficult problem too.
Okay, but that's because the tafkid of us in this world is to what? To what? Mikimia. To overcome the Yetzer Hara. Thank you. We shall overcome. Moshe, they got everything from us. Mind opening the window? It's a little warm in here. It is open? Oh, see, what do I know?
So you're overcoming.
Where was I? Isn't that amazing?
You're overcoming your Yetzer Hara.
Because you want to say to your friend, rotten hell, I'm going to help you.
I know.
But to overcome a Yetzer Hara, so you should what? First help your friend load, even though your enemy, even though your friend's animal is what? Suffering. Because my tikkun, my fixing my midot, comes before the animal's pain.
Wow.
That's a pretty amazing halacha. If you turn over to side number 2, now we get to English. Baruch Hashem. Side number 2. Chanoch, now you can look in. You have it? Side number 2, source 5. This is the Rambam, Moreh Nevuchim. Why are we not allowed to cause pain to a... I used to say aminal. When I was little, I used to say aminal. Animal. Source number 5, Rambam. This is a translation in 1904 by Friedlander, the Rambam Moreh Nevuchim. There is a rule laid down by our sages. You have that? Elisheva, source number 5, side 2, that is directly prohibited in the Torah to cause pain to what? Any animal, even a pig. And it's based on the words, why have you beaten your donkey? Isn't that amazing? The Torah, Larry, is GPS. The Torah doesn't tell me any stories. How do you say GPS in English? God's personal system. Why do we need to know 3,328 years ago the angel is rebuking Bilam for beating his animal? Why should I care? The angel says to Bilam, you're a bad boy, Bilam, you're beating up your donkey. What do I care what the angel said to Bilam 3,328 years ago?
Well, because it sets a precedent.
It's teaching me that what? That beating your animal is a Torah violation. So the Malach was not just talking to Bilam, he's talking to everyone. Jew and non-Jew. One of the 7 Noachide laws is not to cause pain to an animal. Ever min achai. Isn't that incredible? Mm-hmm. So going on. But the object of this rule is to make us perfect. Why does God care whether it should be cruel to animal or not? This makes me perfect, says Rambam in source number 5, that we should not assume cruel habits. And that we should not uselessly cause pain to others. On the contrary, we should be prepared to show what? Compassion and mercy to all living creatures. Larry, it's in English. To all living creatures. Except when what? Demands the contrary. I'm allowed to kill shecht an animal to eat it. Or a non-Jew can kill an animal and eat it. Right? But you have to make sure that you kill him in a what? Compassionate, humane way, not to cause him to suffer needlessly. What?
You have to hug it. Hug it before.
Hug it before you shecht it. Hug it before you shecht it.
But the Noahites don't have rules of slaughter?
No, but still they have to be careful to kill the animal in a humane way, right? So the Torah says when your soul wants to eat meat, we should not. It's underlined. You see that in source number 5. We should not kill animals for the purpose of practicing cruelty or for the purpose of play. Is hunting allowed? No. It depends. If you want food and clothing, yes. But not for sport. Not even a non-Jew. If you need food and clothes, of course you can hunt. But just for play, for sport, it's against the Torah. Even a non-Jew can't do that. It cannot be objected to this theory. So why should God select mankind as the object of a special providence and not other? Why did God choose us and not what? Mr. Ed? For he who asked this question must also inquire, why has man alone of all species of animals been endowed with intellect? No other animal has the intellect that a human being has. So therefore we are special. How do you say intellect in Hebrew? Tselem Elohim. Tselem Elohim. How do you say that in English?
Intellect.
Intellect. The image of God. That's the intellect that no other creature has except what? Man. Even though our DNA is 99% of a monkey. 99% of a monkey, our DNA. But we're still miles above a monkey because a monkey doesn't have a Tselem Elohim.
That's right.
Doesn't have the intellect. To answer to this second question must be according to 3 other theories. It was the will of God. It was the decree of His wisdom. That what? That the human being is special, and only human being as a Tselem Elohim has the intellect that we have. Okay? Now source number 6, the Rambam again, Moreh Nevuchim. The commandment concerning the killing of animals is what? Necessary, because the natural food of man consists of veggies and of the flesh of animals. As this lady said, that after the flood there was a change, mankind became physically weaker and could no longer exist solely on what? Vegetables, and they needed to supplement their diet with what? With tofu. With meat, thank you, right? The best meat is that of animals permitted to be used for food. So the Rambam is claiming here that the kosher species is the most tasty of meat. Did you know that?
Say it again.
The kosher species.
The kosher species is the most tasty of meat.
Did he taste the other? Did he taste the other?
I'll tell you what the Orach Chaim HaKadosh tells me. On Pesach night, you have to have a real shawarma, not the imitation shawarma.
Oh, yeah.
Why do Jews love shawarma? We remember the original shawarma was what? Roast lamb.
Yeah.
Says the Orach Chaim, I wouldn't repeat this unless you say, Orach Chaim HaKadosh says, the most delicious food imaginable is to take roast lamb, wrap it in a soft matzah with moror and horseradish and eat it together. That's the most delicious thing on earth. And therefore, on Pesach night, when God made us His special people, He wanted to give us what? A treat.
Yeah.
So the Orach Chaim says that roast lamb, shawarma, wrapped up in a pita, you know, the soft matzahs that the Sephardim have.
Yeah, yeah.
The Jews originally all Sephardim. We all left Egypt, right? The first lafa with lettuce and chrein, heaven.
Yeah, yeah.
So on Pesach night, when we became God's people, Shelley, He says, this is your special treat. So the most delicious meat is what? Is lamb. Lamb. And the Rambam says the other kosher animals are also delicious. He says no doctor has any doubts about this, since therefore the desire for procuring good food necessitates killing of animals. The Torah enjoins that the death of the animal should be the easiest way. You kill him with a razor-sharp knife, no nicks, and the animal loses consciousness within 2 seconds and feels no pain. It is not allowed to torment the animal by cutting the throat in a clumsy manner, by poleaxing, or by cutting off a limb while the animal is still alive. It's prohibited even for a non-Jew. Next paragraph in source number 5. You have that? Source 6, Slicha. The source 6, the second paragraph. It is also prohibited to kill an animal with its young on the same day. You can't kill an animal with its baby on the same day. Why? In order that people should be restrained and prevented from killing the two together in such a way that the young animal is killed in the sight of the mother. For the pain of the animals, did you know this, Elisheva? For the pain of the animals under such circumstances is what? Very great. In bold type, in source 6, there is no difference in this case between the pain of a human and the pain of what? Other living beings. Since the love and tenderness of the mother for her young ones is not produced by reasoning, says Rambam, but by what? Imagination. And this faculty exists not only in human beings, but also what? In most living beings. He doesn't say all. I don't think fish have. You can kill a fish and its young on the same day. Do you know that?
That's wrong.
Well, how would you know anyway?
This law applies only to ox and a lamb. You can kill a chicken and its young on the same day. Did you know that? You can kill a deer and its young. A deer is kosher. You know that?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can kill a deer and its young on the same day.
That's just wrong.
How dare you say it? Don't fight the Torah.
Have you ever seen a baby?
You can kill. This law applies only. Elisheva, let's see. Seeing is believing.
That's just wrong.
This law that you can't kill the parent and the child on the same day applies only to the ox, cow, sheep, and lamb family.
It doesn't say cow.
I'm telling you, believe me, Masha. Ox means the ox is the husband of the cow.
I thought the bull was.
That's the same. Elma the bull and Elsie the cow.
Yeah.
Ox, cow, sheep, lamb, and goat.
Lamb.
Those species that are brought on the Mizbeach, only those species, Yehuda, you can't kill the parent and the young on the same day. But to kill what? A chicken?
Or a deer.
Or to kill a deer and its young on the same day, to eat it is permitted. Why? Why?
They're not as small.
Tell me why. You have it in front of you. This law applies only to the ox and lamb family because of the domestic animals used as food. These alone are permitted to us, and in these cases the mother recognizes her young. What about a deer? Doesn't a deer recognize her young?
Well, that's what I
Huh?
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
But we don't bring it on the
But you don't bring it on the Mizbeach.
That's the difference.
But I don't understand. I don't understand.
Because, well, I'll tell you why.
Tell me, help me, help
The
me.
difference
Oh, we don't
is,
use it
we're giving it to God, who's super compassionate.
Okay.
Yourself to eat it. God says, don't bring it to me if it's going to, the mother's going to, young. If you're doing it for me,
Yeah,
I'll waive my need for it.
yeah.
To make a mother suffer because it's God. For you, you'll eat it, so you don't care that you suffer that much.
Yeah. But still, I think it's strange that you're allowed to kill the deer and the mother on the same day and eat it.
But these animals are.
What?
Because you're not doing it for eating it, you're doing it for bringing it to God. So therefore, He doesn't want you to do it.
But a deer you don't bring on the Mizbeach.
That's why you can kill it on the
It
same
wouldn't
day.
stand still long
Strange
enough.
that a mother should watch
What?
child being killed.
What?
We're talking about all these good things for animals, and we should have rahmanas.
Right.
Things like, but yet we're willing to kill in front of the mother.
So that's a good question, Larry. Look, God makes the rules, right? So why are you allowed to kill an animal at all and eat it, right? Yes, go ahead.
You mentioned hunting.
So this is divine wisdom. We don't understand what?
You mentioned hunting.
Hunting
Now, hunting.
for food and clothing, yes.
Non-kosher way. So how can you hunt?
I'm talking about a non-Jew.
You have to trap it.
You said
You have to
Jews can
trap
hunt
it.
for
A Jew can hunt for food if he traps him without giving him a fatal wound.
Oh,
And then he,
If you trap the animal and you give him a fatal wound, that's treifa.
Right.
Even though it's alive and you shecht it, you can't eat it. But a Jew would have to trap the animal in such a way that it doesn't cause a fatal wound.
Right.
But again, you're only allowed to hunt for an animal if you need for food and clothing. But for sport, it would be what? Prohibited, even for what? For a non-Jew, even for a non-Jew as well, right? Now, yes,
second, I thought,
Famous trooper from the Nolama Yehuda.
about hunting, yes.
And somebody asked the Nolama Yehuda if it's permissible for him to follow the hunt. So the Nolama Yehuda said, well, he might be permissible, but he couldn't imagine any decent Jew wanting to do something.
Right. Unless it's for food or clothing, right? Unless it's for food or clothing. Now,
Who's going to tell the Gentile not to do that?
to skip the 7, go to heaven.
I understand.
Uh,
Everything is mentioning Goyim, or Gentiles. That's not for me.
what?
I don't understand that. Are you always referring to Gentiles? But I don't understand why they come into the picture so often.
Other religions, Larry, say my way or the highway. Every single religion except the true religion says my way or the highway. According to Christianity, Gandhi is going to go to hell. Even though he did so much good. Why will Gandhi go to hell? All the Christians say this. Because he didn't accept J.C. Penney. They all say that. No matter how much good you do, if you don't accept J.C. Penney, you're going to hell. And the Muslims say, if you don't accept what? Muhammad, you're going to hell. All religions say my way or the highway, except the true religion. You can check it on YouTube. The only religion that doesn't say my way or the highway is what? Judaism.
God wants tuna with good taste, not tuna.
Right. Judaism says Judaism for Jews and Noachidism for what? For non-Jews.
Right.
The oldest religion in mankind, Larry, was what? Noachidism.
That's right.
Adam, Chava, Shem, Aver, Abraham, before 99 years old. What did they practice? Noachidism. Keep the 7, go to heaven. Okay, so one of the 7 is not to be cruel or torture animals. But if you need it for food or clothing, it's not torturing them. Because the animals were made what? To serve mankind.
So therefore,
Right?
even a non-Jew shouldn't be able to hunt.
Unless it's for food, not for sport. Because you're causing pain to an animal.
Sport is a big thing. So
Right?
So if you're not,
Or bullfight. It's a terrible, it's a Noachide sin to do the bullfights. You're torturing the animal for nothing. Right? And therefore, in certain cities, they outlawed it. Even in Spain, in certain cities, right? That's being cruel, right? Now, does a person have to eat meat. There's a mitzvah on Shabbos and Yontiv to eat meat, right? Now, let's say a person doesn't like meat. Does he have to force himself to eat meat on Shabbos and Yontiv? Huh? What? Yochanan, I'm glad you came today. You're right. What is there a mitzvah to eat meat on Shabbos and Yontiv? When you enjoy meat. But if you don't enjoy it, there's no mitzvah to eat it.
There's no other Shabbos for it.
That's right. There's one exception. Korban Pesach. You've got to eat a kazayas of lamb chops on Pesach night. So even a vegetarian, it's the only exception. On Pesach night, Shelley, even a vegetarian who doesn't enjoy it has to hold his nose while he downs a kazayas the size of an egg of a lamb chop. But besides that, no one is forced to eat meat. Mitzvah to eat meat on Shabbos and Yontiv is only if you enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, then you don't have to eat it. Again, the only exception is what? Pesach night. Why? What?
That's my way or the highway.
Every rule has an exception. There's a rule and an exception. A size of an egg lamb chop is not going to kill you, right?
We don't do it anyway today.
If we don't do it, when we have the Beis HaMikdash, right? Why are we praying for Mashiach to come? To stick it to the... You're 3 for 3. I'm telling you, Rivka's ahead of me today. I asked, why do we pray for Mashiach to come? To stick it to the Goyim? No. More than half of the 613 mitzvahs we cannot do. Because it depends on a Bet HaMikdash. We are spiritually handicapped, Shelley. Spiritually crippled. For close to 2,000 years, more than half of the 613 have been in suspended animation. Because it depends on what? The Beis HaMikdash. So we want the Beis HaMikdash in order to do all of the other mitzvahs, which includes eating lamb chops on Pesach night. That's a mitzvah.
England says that if he's elected prime minister, he'll reinstitute the sacrifice.
He won't wait for the Mashiach.
That's what he said.
Who's that?
Moshe Feigelin. Maybe he's the Mashiach.
We need an Ezra. Rabbi Sprecher.
What?
We need an Ezra.
You need a Navi. You cannot.
We need Eliyahu.
Now it's true. You don't need a temple building to bring a Korban Pesach. But you need to know the Mokam HaMizbeach. And that can only be done by a bona fide Navi. You don't need a temple building, but you need a Mizbeach, the exact location of the outer altar. And we don't know that today. And only a Navi can tell us. So therefore, we want the Beis HaMikdash in order to institute all of the mitzvahs of the Torah, which cannot be done more than half of them because we do not have a Beis HaMikdash. Yes?
Besides the half that you can't do with the Beit HaMikdash, how many can't you do if you live in Chutz La'aretz?
Oh, Rivka, you're 5 for 5. Rivka, you're amazing. You're amazing. Yaakov, you should be proud of her because today's Daf Yomi. Moshe, I didn't plan this. Moshe, I didn't plan this. What? Rivka was mechaven to today's Daf Yomi. Bava Basra Sadik Aleph says if someone lives outside of Eretz Yisrael, he is spiritually crippled. And Rashbam says, why? Because he can't do the mitzvahs atliyas ba'aretz. He can't do the laws of Truma, Maisa, Shemitah, right? So he's spiritually crippled. More than he has to be. Today's Daf Yomi, yes? Right. Chief Rabbi of Haifa.
Right. He's told me that there were 58 mitzvot on Tuliyot Ba'aretz.
58.
58 is gematria chen,
Nechen, grace.
and therefore somebody doesn't live in Eretz Yisrael.
He doesn't have God's grace.
Has no chen.
That's amazing. Today's Daf Yomi. It's amazing. Moshe. Bava Basra 91. Koinky Dinky?
Glad I asked.
It's just amazing, right? It's just amazing, right? So, anyway, someone asked me about castration. The Rambam rules that it's prohibited for any Jew to castrate any human or any animal. So the Rambam rules, you don't have it on your sheet, that is a Torah violation for any Jewish person to castrate any human or any animal. What about a non-Jew? What about a non-Jew? It's not one of the 7.
Rabbi.
It's rabbinically prohibited.
What about guilt?
The rabbis prohibit, the Torah prohibits a Jewish person from castrating any human or animal, but the rabbis prohibit a non-Jew also not to castrate any human or any animal, yes?
You can gild your horse. You can have the vet gild your horse.
What does that mean, gild?
No.
Castrate?
Yeah, well.
What?
If you have a stallion,
That's
you
a
can have
fancy
the
word
vet.
for castrating.
I have a stallion, so is it, if the vet does it, it's okay.
Oh, so go slow. Go slow. So,
Gill is a fancy word for castrating.
the Shulchan Aruch rules, sorry to disappoint you, the Shulchan Aruch in Even Ezer, chapter 5, rules, it is prohibited for a Jewish person to give his animal to a non-Jew to be neutered. Shulchan Aruch rules it is prohibited for a Jewish person to give his animal to a non-Jew to be neutered. Huh? You hear this?
What about the cats and dogs if you don't neuter
Uh-huh.
millions of them? What about the cats and dogs? What about cats and dogs? Because otherwise there's too many of them.
Yeah.
What do you do about that?
What about cats and dogs, Rabbi?
Okay, so what do you do with all the cats and dogs? So the poskim say as what? That the animal can be neutered by a non-Jewish vet through a grama. How do you say that in English? A grama, indirectly. Some poskim, Rav Issa Yehuda Unterman, which former chief rabbi of Israel, he says that the animal may be neutered by a non-Jew if it's done indirectly through a grama, which will lead to the reproductive organs shriveling. It would then be permitted to ask a non-Jew to perform what will be at most a rabbinic prohibition. So according to Rav Unterman, the former chief rabbi of Israel, that a person can give his animal to a non-Jew to have it done through a grama, which will lead to the reproductive organ shriveling. It would then be permitted to allow the non-Jew to perform it, because that's not prohibited. If you do it you cannot do it. But to give it to a non-Jew to do it indirectly, Rav Unterman rules that it's what? Permitted. Okay? But he has to do it in such a way, like I think it's called laser beams. So that it's not, what? No, you're not allowed to cut. You have some way where it causes the reproductive organs to shrivel in an indirect manner. A Jew cannot do that, but he would be permitted to have a non-Jewish vet perform it that way. Okay?
What could a Jewish vet do?
A Jewish vet is not allowed to do that. He has to give it to his non-Jewish colleague. Larry, give it to a non-Jewish colleague, okay?
Then it has to be a roast or not.
What?
And then it can't just be cut.
No.
Why?
It has to be done in an indirect way, where you're not causing the animal pain directly. Okay? Now, if you go back to side number 2, source number 10, it's in Hebrew. You see that? Rivka, source number 10 on side 2. This is the Ramah Even Ezer. You have that, Yehuda? Source 10 on side 2 in the bottom. Ramah Even Ezer. Kol davar hatzorech l'refua or l'shar devarim. Tzar b'l'chaim is prohibited in the Torah, but anything which the human being needs for refuah. How do you say that in English? For healing. Or l'shar devarim. If the human being needs the animal for refuah or other things that's necessary for him, les be iser tzar b'alachayim. You hear this? then Tsar Balachayim does not apply. Tsar Balachayim is when you're torturing the animal for no reason. But if you need to experiment on the animal in order to find a cure for cancer, it's allowed. Because the animal kingdom is supposed to serve mankind. You can't cause pain to an animal needlessly. But if it's for refuah, for research, medical research, to find a cure, then the law of Tsar Balachayim does not apply. But even when you're doing that, you have to try to make sure that you do it in what? In the least cruel method. In your humane manner. In your humane manner. Okay? So now we learn that Tsar Balachayim is what? Look how the Torah is concerned with animal rights. Huh? It's a Torah violation for a Jew and a non-Jew. It's so important. It's one of the 7 Noachide laws. Wow. One of the 7 not to cause unnecessary pain to any animal. Right. That's pretty amazing, yes?
Jews for vegetarianism have got a different angle on it. They say that never mind the killing that might suffer a bit. What about the living? Have you seen their living quarters?
The living quarters?
Of chickens and things.
Of chickens and cows. They don't have space.
Rav Avadia Yosef Zatzal Paskin, Larry, you're going to like this.
Can we have a question, please?
The question is the way they keep the animals penned up. Or they force feed gooses to make the geese. Thank you. Glad you came today. To make the liver. Rav Avadia Yosef said that you're not allowed to eat that liver. If you force feed the geese, you're causing him tsar balachayim. So even though you shech the goose kosher, you still should not eat the liver, because that liver was obtained by tsar balachayim. Rav Avadia Yosef, chief Haredi rabbi. Wow. Even though you shechted the goose kosher, but since you caused unnecessary pain to the animal by stuffing him to enlarge his liver, you're not allowed to eat that liver. I think it's called pateh. What's it called? Gras. What's your language? In what language? What? French. Okay. So you have to be sensitive to animals to keep them in humane conditions. Right?
And there's this book called Eating Animals.
Right.
The reason why I call Eating Animals as opposed to eating meat is because the meat industry don't want to de-animalize them. So they're not animals anymore. They beef, they sirloin, they T-bone steak.
But the Torah allows us to eat. You'll never be more religious than God. The Torah allows me to eat meat, Chana.
No.
Don't be more compassionate than God. Whatever it's called, right? So you're allowed to enjoy meat, right? But you have to do it. You shech the animal, that the animal should have the least amount of pain. Thank you very much.